Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Thought for Thursday. I hope we're all doing good today. Hopefully, it has been a great week for you. It's been a busy week for me. I see you coming in over there on Instagram. Hey, everybody. It's been a great week for me. A busy week, but a good week, you know. I would rather it be busy than not have anything going on at all, right? Idle hands don't get a whole lot done. Sometimes you need to rest, though. I do want to say that. So I don't want to imply that you have to be busy all the time, but at least with work, it's good not to be sitting around all the time. You know what I mean? So, anyway, bottom line, hope you've had a good week. It's Thursday, it's Friday Eve, and we're talking about something that is so important today. Our word for the week is tenacity. And we talked about that and the need for it when you're trying to push through and get things done. But let's be real for a second, and I talked about that with the little teaser I put up on what we were going to talk about tonight. Sometimes it gets hard to be tenacious and determined and committed when you can't see a thing progressing. No matter how you look forward, backwards, to the side, under the mountain, over the mountain, nothing seems to be working. And if you've been at something for a long time, if you're on a project that you really have to build, like entrepreneurship, for example, or if you're working on something that you're literally building, like a house, and you're doing it perhaps on your own and not without any builders to help you, reminding me of like what my grandparents did. They knew what they had to do, and it took them a while, and sometimes I know they got discouraged because it seemed like, working on those things after school and after work, it was never going to be accomplished. And that is the time when you get to the point where you cannot see straight. You know that you're still in this storm, you're in this battle, and you're determined to win. But it gets real hard sometimes when it gets foggy and you can't see where you're going. And the first thing you want to do is take a seat and say, enough is enough. I've gone as far as I can. I mean, we come up with all kinds of excuses for quitting. Well, we gave it a good run. Well, this just wasn't meant to be. Well, things really aren't that bad where I am. I don't really need to go forth and push forward. When all we may really need when it gets foggy is not to turn on those high beams, because in the natural, when you're driving in the fog, you turn on those high beams. That's not going to make your vision any better. It's not going to make it any clearer. But there are some things that you can do while driving in the fog that are really going to help you to take your time and to still get to where you're going safely. And the goal of the whole process is to get there, right? So, in other words, when it gets foggy and you can't see your way, look for some tools and techniques that are going to help you to maneuver through that fog so that you can still get to your destination without giving up and saying it's just not worth the fight. All right. So, what do some of those tools look like? We'll talk about them quickly here. So, the first one I want to talk about is you need to reframe your perspective. You need to look at things differently. You know, I already said that when you start moving forward and you get to a point where you get a little discouraged because it looks a little foggy, um, you have to kind of look at things a different way. Yeah, there's fog in your way, but that's also your opportunity to be strengthened and perhaps be encouraged by the fact that kind of having some difficulties. Let that reinforce the fact that whatever you're working for is indeed for you, and make that actually make you more determined. So reframe how you're looking at things. Instead of focusing on solely the end result, perhaps you can just celebrate the effort that you're going through in the midst of trying to get there. Celebrate that effort and the small things, the step by step, the teeny tiny things that you do in order to progress. Celebrate them. And you would be amazed at how it will help you to get to that big goal. All right. And then, of course, the celebration is all the bigger. So you want to be sure again, don't focus so much on what's not going right. Change your focus up a bit and realize that maybe I need to reframe my perspective. Recognize, number one, change, it takes time. So anything that happens quick, everything that you put in the microwave isn't meant for the microwave. There are some things that you need to cook on the stove, some things that you need to put in the oven, and it's going to take a longer time to cook because that is what the process requires. And the small steps that you take are really those essential building blocks. I was just saying, celebrate the small things. You know that they're essential still in getting you to where you need to be. They're the essential building blocks in reaching those larger goals. So, one way to get through the fog is kind of reframe your perspective. What's another way to do it? Go ahead and break down those goals. Let me tell you, when you've got a huge goal and you're looking at it, and it's the same as making your plate and having all of the stuff on your plate at one time, or having all of the ingredients setting out on the counter that you know you need to do to make a huge dish. When you look at it all at one time, it seems massive, doesn't it? Well, hopefully, if we're filling our plates, they don't seem massive if we're doing our dinner, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. When you have a lot of different pieces that are going into the process, it can seem really massive because you're looking at that one goal and it seems so cumbersome. It seems so big that you really can't focus on getting even the first step done sometimes. That's how people get stuck. They look at the big goal and don't realize that they really need to celebrate some of the smaller things and not be overwhelmed because you can't even make the first step if you don't take your focus off of that real big thing and focus on doing the smaller things. So break the goal down, divide your long term goals into smaller, achievable milestones. Make sure that you have some things in there that you're going to be able to celebrate. So make sure you have some measurement for those things that you're trying to do. Have some milestones in there and then celebrate each one of those milestones. Just like we said a few minutes ago about reframing that perspective and celebrating the small things. No matter how far you reach, celebrate that because you know what? However far you got is further than you were when you started, right? So that's progress. That is progress, no matter how small it may seem. This approach can help you, of course, to see that progress if you take it in small bites and recognize each time you successfully break something down. What's the third thing that you need to do in order to maneuver through the fog? Have a little patience. Have a lot of patience. All right. If you've been at this thing for a while, there's a very good chance you're going to need more than just a little patience. Understand that meaningful change, it's going to require some patience and it's going to require you to trust the process and have faith in your abilities. This is where we start to doubt ourselves and feel that there's no value in what it is that we're trying to do, feel that we don't have any value. Any number of negative things that affect our mindset, this is where they start to fester because we're again trying to maneuver through this storm. We're in the fog. We know we have a destination. It seems like we're never getting there. Maybe we've been at this for years and we're tired. Everybody gets tired when they get in a race. So what do? You make sure you have your water. You pace yourself. You realize when you hit the markers because that will tell you how much further you have to go. You have patience in knowing that you're going to finish the race, but it's going to take you some time. So make sure that you understand that. And that patience is what's going to allow you to stay committed when it gets the most challenging. All right. What's a fourth thing that you can do? Make sure that you revisit and revise your plan. All right. So things may not be going so well. Maybe it's time to look at that plan and find out if you have everything aligned to actually get you to where you want to be, to get the results that you want. Perhaps it's time to tweak it a bit. Perhaps it's time to do some revisions. And yes, it may even mean that it's time to kind of start the process a lot further back towards the beginning than you really want to. Because again, your goal is to succeed. It is not just to finish. You want to achieve what it is that you're going to do, all right, that you're seeking to accomplish, the thing that you want to happen in your life. Because it's only with those successes that you're going to want to continue to build upon what you're doing. You succeed in one thing and then you realize, I can do this. Let me go ahead and do the other. Otherwise, we get stuck in that fog. We sit there and we decide that we're going to try and wait until the weather clears up rather than try to go ahead and take our time and get through it. And by the time the weather clears up, then all kinds of things could happen by then. You could have missed the appointment that you really needed to have. There are a number of things that could happen if you truly wait every time you see the fog coming. You need to go ahead and employ these techniques that I'm talking about so that you can maneuver them. And one way, one technique, one tool is to go ahead and look back at where you are, see where you started, see where things may have started breaking down, see where it is that you can go ahead and move forward, maybe by tweaking something. All right. What is a fifth thing that you can do? When it gets really foggy, go ahead and seek some support and some accountability. Let me tell you, when you have someone who is in this fight with you, someone who is as determined as you are in helping you to get where you want to be, somebody who is as determined as you are in getting to where you want to be, you want that accountability person that you can talk to, that can say, you know what, I see you slowing down. I see you trying to give up. Don't do it. I know how badly you want this. I know what's in you. I know what you can accomplish. What is it that I can do to help to push you to keep going and not to sit down in this journey? You want that accountability and you need that support. Share your journey with supportive family, with friends or mentors. Make sure that that person is there or those people are there that are going to hold you accountable so that you can provide, so that you can go ahead and persevere in what it is that you need to do. And they can provide you with the encouragement that you need in order to get to where you want to be. And the last thing here, the sixth thing you can do is focus on what you can control. I don't care the best made plans, the best laid out process that you can possibly come up with is always going to have some snafu, something in there that's not going to go exactly how you want it to go. Don't get stuck in the process. Don't get stuck in that little part of the plan that has slowed down. All right. You have to keep pushing. Recognize that not everything, may be within your control. Chances are they're not. Instead of fixating on the external factors, focus on the aspects that you can control, such as your actions, your attitude, your effort. Those are all things that you have control over and that you can affect, things that you can definitely have some control over. Don't sweat the things that you cannot control. And above all else, I don't have it written in here, but make sure that you remain plugged into the source that is going to give you the strength to go forward. Make sure that you're praying. Make sure that you're checking in and really spending some reflective time to determine exactly what it is you want, if this is the process that you're supposed to go through. And then, like I said, that praying is what's going to help you to continue to push even when you may want to pull and sit down. All right. So, how do you make it through the fog? Don't flip on those high beams. That's only going to make the fog worse. Dim those lights, take your time, continue to push forward. Don't be reckless. Be vigilant to make sure that you are watching out for all of the things around you, not just yourself and where you're going. Make sure that you stay on the path that you need to be on, of determination, grit, resilience, tenacity, all those things that you need to go ahead, push forward, and get to where you need to be and make it out of the storm successfully. All right. So that's it, guys. That's how you maneuver a storm. Don't get stuck. Don't think it's going to last forever. You can push through. Go ahead and do the thing that you want to do, the thing that you probably put off forever. Just make sure that you continue to push so that you can get through. All right. Listen, you guys have a great rest of the evening. Have a great weekend. I have a scroll down here. I have something scrolling at the bottom of the screen telling you about all kinds of things that are going on. I want to stress the importance of making sure you hop over if you're in this DC metro area, or if you want to come to the DC metro area on August 12th. The screening of Reinvented to Rise. Ticket sales are on. Ticket sales are moving. And I want to make sure that I see you there. So go on over and grab your ticket. All right. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Like I said, realize that you need to go out and be confident. Have that no quit spirit. Have that spirit that you can maneuver through the fog. Know that you have an imprint that's only yours, that can impact something. And you need to go out and touch something with that thumbprint, that fingerprint, and make a difference, not just for you, but for somebody else who's out there looking for that difference to be made. All right. You guys have a great one, and I'll talk to you real soon.